Hi, I'm Hilary Talbot, acupuncture physician and clinical herbalist. Today we will be discussing acupuncture for mold allergies. Now, if you've ever experienced mold allergies, you know that they are quite debilitating. In a matter of seconds when you walk into a building, you know that that building is filled with mold, and you might experience that through sneezing, swelling of the eyes, or just a difference in your sense of smell, kind of picking up on the musty smell that's often accompanying mold. So if you do have mold allergies, it's really important to make sure that you don't go into those areas, obviously treating yourself by eliminating the stressor. But if that's something that you have no control over, let's say unfortunately you're stuck in what's called a sick building working where it's filled with mold, you might try acupuncture in order to bring up your immune system in order to have less symptoms when you are exposed to this stressor of mold. So there are many different points that we would choose in order to bring up the immunity, but I'm going to needle just a couple local points here in the head to show you what some points might be. Now you might think, oh my gosh, I don't want to get needled in the face just for my mold acupuncture, but it doesn't hurt. So you want to start by swabbing the points of choice. So I'm going to use yin tong, located here right between the eyes, as well as I'm going to thread a needle through B tong and Li20 here in the sinus cavity. Now again, those points in the face, you might think, oh my gosh, that's going to hurt so much. But if your nasal passages are completely obstructed and you can't breathe or smell anything, it's glorious to have these points needled because it immediately opens up the nasal passage. So we're just going to let that alcohol dry for a little bit before I needle the point so it doesn't sting. So I've got my sterile one-time use only needles here. I'll pull out a couple. Now yin tong is great because it actually opens all of the sinus passages in the head and it's very calming. So if you can't breathe, most of us have a tendency to get a little worked up over that. So that's one of the points that you might experience. And then I'll show you one side of B tong to Li20. All right, so I'm going to have you take a nice deep breath and I want you to exhale loudly. Okay. All right. Now take a couple breaths for me and see if you can notice the difference from one side of nostril to the other without the needle. All right. So after we retain those needles for about 12 to 20 minutes, depending on the severity of your condition, I'm going to go ahead and remove them. And I'm going to use a cotton ball and use some firm pressure when I take it out and just leave the cotton ball there with a little bit of pressure because the head is actually quite vascular due to those big brains that we have. They need a lot of blood. So if you were ever going to bleed from an acupuncture point, this might be the point that it would happen. So again, very important to get out of the situation where the mold is. And if you can't do that, then you want to possibly experience acupuncture and herbs in order to try and alleviate your symptoms to the mold. I'm Hilary Talbot, and that was Acupuncture for Mold.